Hello and welcome to the Lobby Reporter, where we cover the latest Fortnite tips, tricks, and fantastic Fortnite events. To help you secure that victory royale. And first thing on the list is our FNCS Globals 2025 breakdown. Today we are going to talk about the recent FNCS Global Championship that just recently happened on September 6th and 7th, where 33 teams battled it out to take home the title of FNCS champion. But before we get into the results of the game, let's briefly go over what is the FNCS Championship. Well, first, what does FNCS stand for? It stands for the Fortnite Championship Series. This is a series of games where players build up points through eliminating players and getting placement points, where they compete against teams to qualify for spots in the global finals. And this year, there was only 33 spots, with the game being played in trios when it has usually been played in duos in the past. So this year's competition was held with only 99 players in the LDLC Arena in Lyon, France. These players battled in a battle royale type game where players have to slowly build up their inventory while trying to fend off other players and teams, where their main goal is to be the last one standing. Now let's talk about who all qualified for Globals. As I mentioned before, 33 teams qualified for Globals this year. And let's take a look at where these teams qualified from. Of the 33 teams, we had a total of 11 teams from Europe, 7 teams from North America Central, 3 teams from North America West, 3 teams from Brazil, 3 teams from Asia, 3 teams from the Middle East, and 3 teams from Oceania. And altogether, we had teams from 7 different regions join in the games this year. And since the range of professional players were from all over, Fortnite does a great job in including everyone. They made sure to have multiple commentators speaking different languages, but also made sure to have translators on standby to better interview players, making the whole competition experience better for the fans, but also the players. Next, let's look at the player's journey and how they was able to qualify for Globals. As I mentioned before, players rank up and earn points in order to win qualifiers to make it to the Globals. The game runs on a point-and-win system where eliminating players gets you points, and you can get more points if you get better placement. Players first start out by competing in small competitions that make their way towards regional qualifiers, where if you win, you secure a position in the global competition. Now for the moment you've been waiting for, the results from the FNCS Globals 2025. First, let's talk about day 1, where the first 6 games were played. The first game was high intensity and the crowd was hyped. The players fought to the end, and eventually Ult, XEN Rapid, and Dig Kanata won the first game in the FNCS Championship. For games 2 through 4, though, the crowd was ecstatic with the dominating team TWIS Queasy, M8 Mustache, and M8 Sweezy, winning 3 games back-to-back. We all thought that they was just going to keep going, but the reign was soon put on hold by Big Vico, XZ Vino, and 8 Flixie, who won Game 5. And finally, the last game of Day 1, and everyone gave it their all to get the most points to lead into Day 2 of the games. But after an intense battle, T. Gino, Fredexy, and Pablo Wingo 888 was victorious in Game 6 of Day 1 in the FNCS Championship. Overall standings had TWIS Queasy, M8 Mustache, and M8 Sweezy in a huge lead going into Day 2, but ending Day 1 with a total of 521 points, with the next closest being M8 Vinyak, M8 Murskow, and Havoc Pixie ending Day 1 with a total of 336 points. But the race wasn't over because Day 2 hasn't even begun. Finally, it's time for Day 2. Players have had a chance to get better settled in, rested, and have had time to strategize. And these last 6 games determined everything for these players. With Game 7, players were going out strong, and Havoc, Ping FNC, and M8 Malibuca came out on top to secure their first win in Day 2. And Game 8 was also intense and ended up with SETI, Galore, and Falcon coming out with the win. And Game 9 was then secured by Havocs, Demis, and Big Darm. Then came the last 3 games. TWI Squeezy, M8 Mustache, and M8 Squeezy was starting to feel more pressure as their lead was declining since they had not yet gotten the chance to secure a win as of yet on Day 2, so the pressure was on. Game 10 had a high pressure endgame as it was almost turned into a heel-off in the last remaining seconds of the game. But that didn't last long as XSET Music, Sphinx, and Fierce Shadow was able to secure a victory royale without having to play the heel-off game. Game 11 was also intense but was overcome by Kadu, Striker, and Shinden Tisco as they secured their first win of the weekend. Lastly was Game 6, the most intense game of the weekend, as players were pressuring other teams. Players are being eliminated early and fighting for whatever points they can get in the last game. The last game was finally won by QAD Kami, Cherry, and Havoc. However, after totaling the final points, it was finally determined that our FNCS 2025 Global Champions were TWIS Squeezy, M8 Mustache, and M8 Squeezy. They definitely fought hard, thought tactfully, and gracefully dealt with the pressure before them as they secured their title of champions. FNCS 2025 Globals was a wonderful experience to watch as a spectator, but had to be 10 times more fun for the athletes. So all the fans and the players also had to be excited when Fortnite announced live at the arena their plans for the 2026 competitive schedule by announcing the next year's Globals will again be held in Europe, which will be in duos, and then they announced the FNCS mid-season land, making the crowd go nuts. Along with these, they announced a Reload Elite Series LAN, a $1 million mobile series, ranked 2.0, and that the Pro AM tournament will again return. A lot more to come and look forward to as this next year of competitive Fortnite continues. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to hear more Fortnite updates. Thanks again for watching.